Oh yeah, welcome to Sunday here to the Small Business Business Podcast. Today we have Scott Boulanger, right?
Yeah.
I want to make sure I say that right. From Whitman Controls. What's going on, Scott? How you doing? Nice to meet you.
Thanks for having me on. I'm doing great.
And of course, we got our co-host Chris Tracy here. So so we're going to be talking to Scott about what he does today and stuff like that. We're gonna go from there. Chris has some questions for you, and we'll have you answer those. And tell us a little bit about yourself first of all.
So I am a Southington native, so I've been in this area for a very long time. But I am the VP Chief Operating Officer of Whitman Controls. We are a small business for manufacturing in Bristol, based on Dolphin Road here. And we make all sorts of sensors, pressure switches, vacuum switches, temperature, liquid level, a whole bunch of different things, really for controls and automation industry.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Automation. Seriously, smart dude. What's your education?
So I have my bachelor's degree from the University of Connecticut in engineering, and then a master's from the University of Iowa.
Oh,
Yeah, Hawkeye.
nice. Yeah, my son's an engineer.
Oh,
For,
cool.
He works for Sikorsky now.
Okay, yeah. I started off for Otis Elevator Company, so
Oh yeah?
yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Sikorsky very well. Yeah,
Oh, that's
I was there
pretty
for
cool.
almost 10 years.
Oh, no kidding. That's cool. Wow.
How'd you get interested in that? That's a cool field.
Kind of followed my brother. So my brother's 7 years older than I am, and he went into engineering, and always looked up to him. So when it came time, I didn't really know what I wanted to do or what I wanted to be, and still don't necessarily, right?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I know.
Exactly.
I'm the same exact way. I end up in businesses that I've never thought I
That's
would
right.
be in. Yep.
Yeah, just following kind of where life takes me. But no, I love engineering. I love the problem solving aspects of it.
So you're good at math.
No, not really.
He's like,
I don't
"Oh."
do much with math. That's the weird part.
Really?
Yeah.
You think
Yeah.
you would be an engineer?
Yeah, you would think.
Because
but
my
there's a lot
son,
of-
it's all math. I don't.
and there is, but once you start getting into like the real world stuff, it's all handled by computers these days.
Oh, that is true. There's a lot
Yeah.
of automation. Yeah.
Automation.
Duh.
So
So Whitman Controls,
Yep.
tell us about the customers that you serve,
Sure.
and then give me a really exciting win that you got for a customer testimonial, something that really excited a customer about you working with them, and they're really happy about the product that you provided them.
yeah, so we primarily work hand in hand with design engineers, application engineers who are looking to take the latest doohickey that they're putting together and make sure that let's say the pressure, as an example, isn't going to cause the thing to blow up when it's running and working, right? So it's a safety application. It's something kind of important. And they will come to us, or we'll reach out to them if we know that they're designing something new because we've been working with them. And we'll kind of walk them through, like, here's what we would do, here's how we would handle it.
Now this is just manufacturing type stuff, right? Or-
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, pretty much. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So, we call them OEMs, so original equipment manufacturers, someone who's going to, kind of like a Sikorsky, who's going to build a helicopter or plane or whatever they're going to do.
Okay.
And they need something to be controlled. So, something works the way it's supposed to.
Okay, I see.
And yeah, then, we work with them. We say, here's the different things that we have at our disposal, and here's what we would do.
So do you guys customize?
A ton.
Okay,
Yes.
that's
Yep.
it's a lot of customization in the automation. Basically.
Exactly.
Okay. I see.
Exactly. So, we do have, stock items that you can get off the shelf. That's, pretty much they can make whatever setting that they need based on that. But our primary focus is trying to customize it to meet their exact specific need.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep.
That's interesting.
But as far as like a kind of a cool win, I won't mention the customer's name because it's something that's somewhat sensitive. But that there's a customer out there that works with police, basically, in trying to help slow down high speed chases. And so I know
God
exactly.
damn
right?
it.
So it's something where they needed to control an aspect of it, and they reached out to us, and we designed something.
Are you
tandem
allowed
with
to
them.
tell us?
I can't tell you the exact thing. It's somewhat sensitive in the nature, but that was kind of a cool one. One that I might be able to talk a little bit more about in depth would be a commercial kitchen manufacturer called us up, and they're making range hoods, right? So something above a stove. They needed something that would trigger if something caught on fire.
Oh, I see.
And so we make a whole bunch of temperature options too. So we worked with them. They needed something that was longer than we typically make. So we designed it, worked around.
Oh,
with
so
them,
you guys do the exact dimensions
exactly
and the
what they need.
fabrication
Yep.
and all that. Wow.
Yep. And we're able to turn that around quickly and get it to them and it's working great.
Now that you said quickly,
Yep.
is it because of the automation that makes it easier and makes your job quicker? Or
Partially. I mean, it's more the, hey, we've got, really knowledgeable engineers on staff who can turn things around quickly.
okay,
We've got a really flexible supply team, that are local here in Connecticut as well.
hmm
So we can work with them, turn something around quickly, get them a design of proof of concept, if you will.
right.
And then they approve it and we just start producing.
Wow, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. How many employees are there?
So we're kind of small. We've only got about 20.
Yeah.
But we're pretty
Well, that
mighty
makes
for
you
the
more
20.
accessible too.
That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying?
That's
It's not
right.
like a big corporation where you have to
Yeah.
go through all these channels.
No,
So
exactly.
that's really cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So
What
All
you got there, Chris?
Since you mentioned employees, if you want to go that
Yeah,
route,
sure.
if you're all done with wins, that sounds like Whitman is a cool company to work for. And Scott and I were talking. We had coffee, and he was telling me about
Wait
how,
a second. You had coffee?
we didn't invite you.
Um,
Steve.
well, you can come have coffee anytime you want,
I have
Steve.
to be invited first. Well,
Yeah.
go ahead.
You're always welcome, Steve. So, anytime. And you were saying about how your team that you supervise, they're sometimes surprised interacting with you because they're used to working in different types of company cultures that
Sure.
are more micromanaged, and they're just not happy being there. And then when they work with you, they're like, "Really, I can do that?" That type
Yep.
of culture that you have. So, if someone was considering getting a job at Whitman Controls, what's it like working there? It sounds like it's a cool place to work if someone's looking for a job, and you seem like a really cool boss to have.
Thank you. I
You
appreciate
know,
that.
you're not like a slave driver. You're just
No.
kind of like, hey, like you're real, and that's important nowadays. I mean, employees want to feel like they want to enjoy going to work, right? They want to feel comfortable, and they don't want to be like, I gotta go to Women Controls today. It sucks because Scott's gonna be there. Is Scott
Yeah.
here? We've all had
Yeah.
that job,
Oh,
right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So give us a little something and say, okay, well, if someone's looking for a job and they're considering, coming to Whitman and filling out an application, what would a day in a life be, working under your care?
Guidance. Sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've all had those guys who are, just jerks to work for. And I kind of modeled my life to not be that way, but still be able to get the job done. What I try to do is start off with like a vision. What are we looking to do? Where are we looking to go? Making sure that everyone kind of agrees and buys into that concept. And ultimately, hey, we're all here to make money. So making sure that the goals of what we're looking to do line up with, hey, if we meet these goals, you're going to get a cut of the money too. We got bonuses. And
Are you hiring?
we're not at the moment, but I'll
Damn,
call you.
I
if
really need a job right now.
Yeah.
I want someone just to tell me what to do rather than.
Yeah. See, I like the opposite of that. I like being able to kind of come up with the strategy and figure out where we're going, and then work with the people to say, hey, does this make sense even, and tweak it if I need to. But as far as like a day in the life, I typically come in and try to work with my people, not
So
I'll
your
just-
customers, I know it's more of a collaborative effort,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, and it's the same way even with my employees. I may be the boss, but all that really means is it's my job to state, here's the vision, here's
You're
where we're going.
responsible for the end. Yeah.
Yeah,
I see what you're
exactly.
saying.
But I've always looked at it too. The one of the most important people in the company is the janitor, right? They're going to come in, they're going to clean up everything. If you don't have the janitor, nothing else is going to work too for your company.
Right. Right.
So just because I may be quote unquote the boss, I'm no more important or less important than the janitor is.
right.
And so I try to get all of my employees to feel that. I try to empower them. I had an employee, I was telling Chris a story where, I came in and started kind of moving some things around a little bit, was asking people questions and this and that, like, hey, would it make sense to do this? Would it make sense to do that? And she like had a flash in her eyes and she's like, wait, we can move stuff around? I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
you're
right.
doing the job. I'm not doing it. So if there's something that makes sense for you to do,
Right.
you
And it's
know,
easier for you to
and
do.
that's exactly it. That's
Yeah.
how I always look at it. Is like I go and ask people, what are your headaches? Where are the things that you don't want to do and come in the day, right? I mean, there's always going to be something that's like
That does make sense, though. That does
Yeah.
make sense. And a lot of people don't have that philosophy
No,
in their workplace.
and that's just it. Is if you can figure out what's causing people to not want to come to work and you remove those, then yeah, hey, let's do it.
Yeah.
And so that one particular employee, she completely helped rearrange her workstation and her work area and made it a ton more efficient.
Right. Because she wants to be there.
Because she wants to be there now.
Right.
And so that's the kind of thing that I like to do. That's my philosophy, is empower people to really take the ownership and run with it. And I also give people the benefit of the doubt. If you try something and it doesn't work and you fail, that's okay. You learn something. You learn what doesn't work.
Well, that's part. Yeah, engineering is basically a science.
Yes.
You know what I
Yep.
mean? It's experimentation
Yep.
and see how things work and stuff like this. How long have you been doing this for?
So I've been in the
with
industry.
this company.
So with this company, I'm relatively new. So I've only been here about 6-7 months or so.
Okay.
But I've been doing this for almost 20 years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you
So I
got
know
quite the
I'm pretty young.
background. Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
good. How old are you? May I ask?
I'm 40. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, compared to me, you're young, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
You're an
Yeah.
adult.
Exactly.
You
All right.
don't look like it. That's why I asked.
Thank you. The beard doesn't cover it up. I
No,
tried
it still doesn't. But yeah.
Yeah.
Did you mention too? Did I hear the company has like a profit sharing type thing going
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
too?
We have a bonus structure. Yep. Exactly.
Nice.
So if
How
we,
does that work?
so we have various goals of like, hey, we got to hit this many amount of sales and ship it out. We've got to keep costs down to relatively reasonable,
Right.
and have it make sense. And hey, if we can do that, you get a cut of the deal. It shouldn't just be one person makes all the money in this world. It
Right.
should be everyone who's doing the business gets a cut of it and benefits and grows.
Isn't that so refreshing to hear that? Like,
You
never
don't hear that.
Yeah, it's
you
like,
never hear that at all.
Yeah.
That's why I
Not
love
even
small
in my
businesses.
company.
Yeah. Sorry, Steve.
No profit sharing.
Yeah, but no, I mean, rising tide carries all boats, right?
Right.
So if we all grow, we can all do better. One of the things I love about small businesses is you get to wear every single hat.
Right.
And so even if you're coming into my company and, the first thing you're doing is learning how to ship product, you're going to very quickly start learning how to do everything. And we've had people from our operations team move up into customer service and sales and other things.
Right.
So, we really do our best to try to say where can this person grow into next?
Yeah. Well, on top of that, that's good too, because like, let's say you're short,
Oh yeah.
in a certain department, you got Dave or Sue. They're like, oh, I can do that because I've done it for you already.
right.
You know what I mean? I could step in and help you out,
Yeah.
which, like you said, makes things run a lot easier.
Yep.
And people are more knowledgeable about their jobs. They know the ins and outs, whether it's the executive part or the actual
Yep.
manual labor type. That's
And it's interesting that you bring that up. When you know more about the different roles within the company,
you understand the
you
troubles.
understand, the troubles. You understand like, oh shit, if I do this, I'm actually causing more work for the person next to me.
Exactly.
Who could be me tomorrow.
Right.
'Cause I
No,
gotta go
you're
home.
right. And then
You know?
as far as deadlines go,
Yep.
they know the penalties that can happen if you don't meet the deadline
Yeah.
or,
Oh,
stuff like that's
Yep.
very smart. Very, very smart.
Yeah. So
Good stuff.
And my
cool.
problem is I have trust issues. So
Yeah,
I
you gotta
can't
shed that,
have
yeah.
someone step into my shoes because I have a certain standard, which I'm sure you do too.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yep.
your business is a lot different than mine,
Well, it is, but it's also, there's something called lean manufacturing, right? So it's
Right.
the process of making things flow. But part of that is if I'm the only one who's making a decision,
Mhm.
it's not going to work.
Right.
So if I can empower people to make little tiny changes that make their lives better, I don't need to be there for that.
Right. Because
they're
it
gonna
makes
do
your
it
life better.
Because it makes my life better. It makes the company better.
Right.
It makes their lives better because now they feel like, hey, I can do what I need to do. And again, I'm not going to punish them if they mess something up, as long as, hey, we understand what happened and what we're going to do to make it better and fix it and improve it.
Well, that's
Great,
the
that's a
thing.
win.
I could say this. That's one thing I do admire about engineers,
Yep.
because once they have their mindset, they will figure it out and try to make it work. It doesn't matter how many people are in it.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like one big science project,
Yes.
basically. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So everyone, when you have that mentality, because I'm like that with technology. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? I live and I breathe technology. And like if someone wants to collaborate with him, I'm like, let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's figure this out,
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. It's like a project.
It is.
You know what I mean? So,
Exactly.
yeah, that's cool. I like it.
And hey, manufacturing has no lack of issues to try to fix and solve. And
Right, especially for
Yeah.
designing things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's as far as automation goes.
And one of the things I've learned over my time is some of the people who you would think like, hey, they've got the lowest title in the company. What are they going to be able to contribute to solving a problem? Friggin' geniuses.
Yeah.
Right.
They
they'll come
made a
to you and
movie
go-
about it. Is that Goodwill Hunting?
Goodwill
Yeah,
Hunting,
yeah,
right.
something like
Goodwill
that, right?
Hunting,
Yeah,
No, it does make sense too.
I
yeah.
had a guy at my last job who, what he would do, he would assemble stuff at work and then he would go home and he would literally design pieces of equipment to help build stuff for his car. So he built an entire sandblasting piece of equipment from scratch, designed it, built it, worked functionally.
Isn't that
He was
amazing though?
sandblasting
There
hubcaps.
is people like backyard,
Yeah,
people
engineers.
that just
backyard engineers is what I call them.
we're like, wow, like I
Mhm.
would have never even thought of doing that.
Nope.
And they're just trying to engineer to shoot a potato across the
Yeah, for fun.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I would have never thought about doing it that way,
Yeah.
but it's actually, and these people don't even, a lot of these people don't even have educations, but they, they're just good with their hands.
Yeah,
Whether
yeah.
it's fixing a
And
car
they're
or
engineers just in all things,
They
but
just-
the actual
they don't have that
degree.
piece of paper. Right,
Exactly.
exactly.
So if you
Now,
can
let's
power
say
them, it's great.
if someone wanted to work for you,
Yeah.
are they, is there a testing process, or do they have to have a degree or anything like
I
that?
mean, it depends on the job, right?
Right.
Typically for operations, no, we'll bring them in, we'll try them out, we'll see how they're doing, and
Yeah.
the vast majority of the time they do great. We have, engineers that typically does require a degree.
Right.
But hey, if someone came in and was able to design a doohickey without a degree and did a great job at
Like
it,
for
yeah, we'd
instance,
take 'em.
okay, let's say for instance I was the secretary there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I said, "Hey, can I sit in on, you building this or whatever?
Mhm.
Would you mind me
Yep.
doing that?" You would let them?
Oh yeah,
And
no.
then
So we had a guy. This isn't at this role, but at my previous company, who came from the floor in operations, started doing more like I kind of equate it to being a paralegal at a law firm, right? Not
Okay.
necessarily engineering
Right.
work, but engineering work.
Yeah.
And over a couple of years, we kind of convinced him eventually to go to college, get your degree actually.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we're going to pay you as an engineer. We want you to do this. And when he had finished and actually got his degree, we had worked with him to say, now that you have it, where do you actually want to go? What do you want to do? And it wasn't within our department. It was with down in the operations team, and that's what he wanted to do.
Oh.
And we worked with him to get him down there because, again, the better your employees do and the better and more they do within the company, the better the company is going to be.
Right.
Now, it
Because more
sucks for me because I
productive.
have to hire someone new, but
Yeah. Right.
the company overall is benefiting.
Yeah.
And that's always been my philosophy. Whatever you want to do, I'm going to help you work to get there.
That makes
and
sense.
If it ends up being where, hey, now I'm stuck a little bit and have to hire someone new, fine, so be it. That just means I get to start that process again.
Right.
And
Right.
I love
right.
mentoring.
Yeah. That's cool.
But if not, if you go off and work for someone else too, great. At least I know you're successful. And doing
Well. Someone else works for someone else. I'm like, I taught you all this, and you're
Yeah.
gonna stab me in the back.
well. Hey, what goes around comes around.
Yeah, it's true. Karma. Yeah, I believe I'm a big believer in karma.
And you never know. We've had people who, we've trained and gone off to other companies and they become our customers because we've treated them well. And they know
That's
that
true.
we will as a customer too. So
That's a good way of looking
Yep.
at it. Yeah.
Love it.
Yep.
Any other awesome things you wanted to tell us about Whitman Controls?
I mean, hey, we're looking to grow. We're in the business of looking for new acquisitions. So if there's anyone out there who's looking to retire and wants someone who's going to handle their company well and kind of continue on the legacy of what they built, whether it's within our industry or somewhere else. So we're owned by a parent company. It's called LDR. That's the military abbreviation for leadership.
Mhm.
And so they are heavily invested in investing in U.S.-based manufacturing. So while we're in one industry, we have sister companies who are in different industries, and we're just looking to grow that, keep that, bring more business into the U.S. So yeah, if there's anyone locally or even outside, the Connecticut area that's looking to sell their business, by all means, hit us up. We'll look at it for sure.
Wow.
Yep.
What else you got?
That's a
there?
good one. I should have noted that.
Yeah, no worries.
no.
Something else too is, so you had mentioned, we mainly work with engineers. So we do social media posts through LinkedIn and others on case studies and application studies. So, if there's something where, hey, I'm not too sure if what I am designing is going to work in a certain way, we have certain case studies that we've done in the past that might give you an idea that you haven't thought of. And then obviously you can always call in and can work with you directly. But those are some, as an engineer, from an engineer's standpoint, some pretty interesting case studies and articles that might be useful for our engineering audience.
So, all right. So do you have software engineers also, or
Not as much.
no? Now, does that have anything to do with your company? Do you have to hire a software engineer outside the company to make whatever work?
Not as much.
no, you
I
don't.
mean, a little bit in, we have the computer chips, PLC boards, right?
Right. Yeah.
So those do have some programming in them, but
Right.
it's usually we work with an outside consultant to do that because that's
Okay.
not our strong suit.
That's what I was
it's
just
nowhere
wondering. Yeah.
nowhere
Okay.
you're strong, nowhere you're not.
Right. No.
Yeah,
That makes
yeah.
sense. That makes sense. I'm sure down the road you'd probably, if you get big enough,
Yeah,
you could just
exactly.
have an in-house software
Yep,
engineer
yep.
or whatever. I'll give you a year.
I'll take it.
With
Let's
that
do it.
business model, I'll give you a year.
Yeah.
Scott, Anything else you wanted to promote? You got anything else going on? Like your wife has a business too, right? I think.
Yeah, she does. So it's called Heart Start Training Institutes for CPR, first aid, babysitters training, stuff like that, tied to the American Red Cross Association.
All right.
So yeah, she's just started that. Small business, woman owned. She runs to you, goes to wherever you want to go, and
Is it out of
Helps do the
Bristol
training.
also?
it's out of Plainville technically because that's
Plainville.
that's where we're out of.
All right.
But yeah, she travels down to Waterbury for it and other things too. So.
So do you like running your business out of Bristol? Do they treat you well?
Oh yeah, no, I mean
They do.
Bristol is actually it's called a hub zone. I don't know if you've ever heard of that term, but it's an area that the federal government and the state of Connecticut too, but the federal government wants to invest more money in. And actually the
In Bristol?
in Bristol, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
no
There's
kidding.
a couple of cities within Connecticut that they designate.
And Bristol
as that.
happens to be one of them.
They'll for federal government contracts and even state local contracts, they will specifically put money aside for what they call those hub zones.
Okay.
So that's we like being in Bristol. We want to stay in Bristol, even if we were to acquire companies outside of Bristol. Eventually, we'd probably co-locate if it made sense, because Bristol's actually done really well for us. We've been in here for like 50 years. So
Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
Well, didn't even know that.
yeah.
That's all I got, Steve.
That's all you
Tho-
got?
Yeah,
Chris?
those are my three burning questions. If Scott if you wanted to give us a website or the best way
Yeah.
to get a hold of you for what you got going on with Whitman, and then as well if they wanted to get a hold of your wife and do
Yeah, sure.
business with her.
Yeah, so our website is www.whitmancontrols.com, all one word. And then also find us on, LinkedIn, Facebook. We have pages there as well. And then my wife's is, I think it's www.heartstart.com. So
If they hit you up, they DM
yeah, you
you
can
or
always
whatever.
find me
yeah.
too. Yeah,
You can build an iron lung. Automated.
there you go.
with a sensor.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Sensor controlled.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for today's episode. And thank you, Scott, from your. Oh my God, I can't.
Whitman Controls.
I'm having such a brain fart. This is my second podcast for today.
That's 20 plus years of staying up till 4 o'clock in the morning.
I know. All right,
editing
so
videos.
It's Scott from Whitman Controls. It was nice talking to you.
Great talking to you,
And
gentlemen, too.
yes, so hopefully we'll be doing business with you in
Yeah,
the
for sure.
future.
Yep.
And yeah, it was a pleasure knowing you. And you have, if you guys want to find out more about Scott, go on his website and check him out.
And can I give you two a plug too? So I'd say, yeah, Steve and Chris have been awesome to work with. We've got other things lined up for product clips and pictures and stuff like that too. So
Thank
definitely
you.
been a pleasure working
I
with
thank you for that. I appreciate it. One hand washes the other.
That's right.
Obviously. All right, that's going to do it for today's episode. And you guys enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Scott.
thank you both.